So, I've been thinking about doing this for quite some time, and actually have started to do it quite sometimes, and I'm starting to do it again now. And what that is to talk about my own spiritual practice. And it's something that's obviously very personal to me. So I hesitate to do it, but then it's also been just so very beneficial to me. And so I just feel that I should share it. I should share, I've taught many things in my life. I've taught mostly martial arts. I've taught mostly how to defend oneself. And I still do that a little bit. But I find the martial arts, it's always typically, right, it's using some force, it's using my energy, my prana, my life energy to defend myself, to strike, right? It's basically inflicting pain onto the other person in defense of self, right? Defending others. The art of Aikido, which I've only studied a very small bit, is using their energy, right? They attack you, you just re-guide their own energy, but it can still be very damaging. And there's time and place, right? It's very yang. That's the very yang. There's the yin and the yang. You see the symbol. I am a warrior. I was born a warrior. That's just what's so. I mean, I was in the military, started martial arts when I was 7, then I became a police officer for all these years. Not to say that I'm, some great warrior. I'm just saying that I was a warrior. And then I probably now, I'm still a warrior. But I really want to be a peaceful warrior. And especially as I grow older, and now I'm turning 55 soon, that I really want to come into this place of love. I had this very young, very hard first 50 years. And I'm going to hope to go another 50. And I'm going to be more on the peaceful, gentle, loving side. And so while I taught this harsh yang style, yang part of me, and then I feel that there's just this need in me that I am teaching and sharing with others is this way, because it's partially for me, for sure. And part of my practice has been for quite some time now, even when I was in law enforcement, some difficult times, this personal life and personal, and at work, it can be a difficult job. And when I would come into prayer, meditation, the last part of it, I guess I'll start from the last part, is I would complete my meditation or prayer with just saying, let me be your servant, God. Let me be your servant. Servant of loving, peaceful, really that love is my religion. This allow me to be the servant of love and compassion. And I say that even now, allow me to be the servant of love and compassion. And when I feel connected to God, I feel a lot of times, I can physically see goosebumps on my body and my legs, and I just feel this energy just coming through me. This physical, you can see it physically, I can see it physically, these again, goosebumps in my body, and I just feel this amazing energy running through me. And so I feel like, gosh, what a travesty not to share that with others, not to share how to get connected to that self, that higher self. I call it God. Many other people call it God. You call it universal energy, love, higher self. So I cannot obviously prove that I'm connecting to God. I cannot prove, I don't think, maybe there's some way I can prove it down the road, but right now as I sit here, I cannot prove to you that I'm connecting to anything outside of self. But I know there's some physical evidence, because I'm feeling it, and you can see the goosebumps, that I am connecting to something. I am feeling full of bliss. And when I'm connecting to that higher self, if I ask that self, when I'm in that place, am I connecting to something higher? It just feels even more intense. So the answer is yes to me. I am connecting to something higher. That's my belief. And I feel it in my soul, my heart. So the question is how, right? How am I doing that? How am I connecting to something higher than myself. How do I do that? So I'm going to talk about how it's worked for me, my own process. I do feel that while I share my process, it doesn't mean it's your process. My process was kind of all over the place. So yours may be all over the place, or it may be more direct, or you may be there already. I don't know. My hope is to seek it, is to tell people to seek that connection with yourself and what I believe to be God, but to seek that connection because it is so beautiful and it's so healing. And just because I have this, because I can connect with my higher self and I connect with some feeling of God, I will say this, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to have problems. It doesn't mean that I'm still not going to get angry at times, sad at times. It doesn't make me really any better of a person than anyone else, other than I have a place I can go. I can have a place that no matter what's going on in my life, if I'm having difficulties with family, which is the hardest one for me, this is something a little bit that I'm going through right now. That when I'm having difficulties, there's a place that I can go. There's this place that I can sit, and I can come to this place of peace and love and forgiveness. Thank God for that. So I really do. It's such a blessing to have that, to have found this place. So, so I'm like, okay, so back to how did I get there? So it has been it has been a journey, right? We've all had our own journeys. So really, I feel like it was the desperation, right? Really, this desperate place that I was seeking to get out of. So, after my first divorce, and I was feeling really desperate and anxiety. And suddenly I came into this really seeking place. And one of the first things that happened to me, and this is, first I gotta say, I didn't write anything down. I'm not going off any script. I'm just going from my heart. And what's coming up for me, I was like, I guess I'll talk about this. It's pretty crazy. That's one thing too, and I feel like in expressing some of this stuff to you guys and where I got this stuff, that some of this is definitely outside the box and outside the norm and outside even of my norm, my own craziness that I typically share. Nonetheless, all right, I've hesitated so long. So what had happened is I was going through a difficult time at work, going through divorce, financial struggles, emotional struggles. And I found myself, I would work late and I was up late. I came home and I knew I had to get up early and I was pacing around. I was basically having an anxiety attack in my apartment, pacing back and forth, thinking, and I gotta go to sleep and I have all this nervous energy and I've got all this stuff going on. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna solve this? And in this desperate place, I actually cried out to my grandma, who had been passed away, my grandma Milosevic on my dad's side. She'd been passed away for years. But there's something, this inner child, right, this hurt child in me that just remembered there was times I just felt safe with her. So I, like, in that desperate place, I just cried out to her, like, Grandma, please, I just wish you were here. I just wish you were here. And suddenly I'm actually feeling it. I'm feeling it even now. I'm feeling some goosebumps. I'm feeling this energy. And suddenly I felt it when I was pacing up. All of a sudden I felt it. And look, this is something that I am not alone in this. I'd felt this before. There's certain times, in life, like you hear something, you hear a story, maybe you see something on TV. It just gives you this goosebumps. There's different ways, right? There's like the kind of freaky goosebumps. And then there's but the goosebumps, like, wow, I really feel that. I just feel, it feels good. And there's this knowing. So it's that. It's just this blissful. So I'm thinking about my grandma. And suddenly major. Whoa, this major energy. And I just stood there. I don't know how long. It wasn't that long. Probably less than a minute. But it was so intense. Just feeling these goosebumps and just feeling this energy. It was for a while, right? A minute can be a long time when you're feeling that energy, but all of a sudden you're just rolling, just flooding me. And it felt like it was just like showering through my entire body, nervous system. And once it like diminished, it was still kind of tingly. I was just like so calm. I'd gone from pacing back and forth to just suddenly feeling that amazing energy, which I'm still feeling a little bit now as I talk about it. And then, wow, I was like, whoa, what was that? Was that my grandma? Like, what was that? So then I laid down and I was able to go to sleep. I was in such peace. But before I was able to go to sleep, something really miraculous happened. So I lied down and I was still just kind of like, I was calm, I was relaxed, there was no more anxiety. But then there was just this question of like, and I remember just asking out loud, Grandma, is that you? And all of a sudden, man, the TV turned on. Freaking TV turned on. It was like Poltergeist turned on. I was like, whoa. I was like, I didn't move in bed when I did it. So it wasn't like, did I roll over on the remote? No. I looked over this little table on the counter and there's the remote. 10 feet away from me. TV had never done that before. It never did it after that. And when it did it, poof, it just turned on. I was like, hi, Grandma. I don't know. I'm just saying, that's what happened. And to me, in my spirit, and when that happened, and I was like, hi, Grandma, I felt it again. Never have I felt that intensity that I felt that first time when it just drained through me. However, now, since then, and I sit down, and it's interesting, I don't do this all the time, and I've kind of gotten away from it. So maybe that's why this has come up. I've kind of gotten away from that as part of my meditation practice, is to reach out to my grandma, and I found even other people that have passed. I know it sounds freaking crazy. Maybe it is crazy. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful, crazy, so I'll take it. So I put my hands together and I just, Grandma, I think about her. And even now, I can feel the energy going through me. I love you, Grandma. Thank you. Thank you for watching over me. So I'm 20 minutes in, and I've just scratched the surface on my meditation. So I'm gonna do a series of videos, and we'll just call this the one, the number one. So since then I was in with this. Since then I have established this belief, this knowing, this feeling, this interconnection of being able to communicate somewhat. It's not necessarily, I'm not having a conversation, it's just a feeling. I can just feel this loving presence of past people. If I think about them, especially if I've done some breath work, I'm sitting down, I can usually connect. And how I did this at work, at the police department, it just kind of came to me when, after that happened, we'd have to go and people would be passed, I'd have to go on a dead body call, and you check the body, make sure there's no foul play, and you got to get a hold of the next of kin. There's like the job stuff to do, right? Maybe it could be somebody elderly that just passed away in bed. So you do that, have to obviously take care of the work, and I always, I always did that first, and did whatever. You have to call the coroner or family, and you take care of all the business. But before I would leave the premise, and sometimes I'm remembering it might be outside, like I'd walk outside maybe the apartment and I'm there, but I'm still, in the area. And sometimes it might be right next to the body. I've done that before. I'm waiting, I've got everything, and I'm just sitting with this person that's passed. And one thing I feel that I've seen is their soul is no longer in, that this is just a bucket, a body bucket that we're in. Because once someone is passed, their body is just the body. But I feel maybe their soul is lingering. What I would do is just say a little prayer on my own. Just say a little prayer that their spirit passes into heaven, whatever that may be. I have no idea, but it just passes into a beautiful place of heaven, light, and they may be at rest and peace. So I did that for a while as a police officer, but it was my own thing. However, then I started becoming an FTO, a training officer, and I would take the new officers that I had, and I would say, okay, this is what we gotta do. You gotta get a hold of the next of kin, or they gotta get a hold of the doctor, you gotta call the coroner, whatever the case may be. Handle all your business, right? All of that, whatever that is. And then, now here I have this new officer, and then I tell him, I go, look, and I would just share with him, here's something I do. Yeah, this is what I would tell him, right? Here's something I do. It's not something you have to do at all, but I do feel it's important to share this with you. And I would tell them, I just say a little prayer. I just say a little prayer for the person that's passed, and a lot of times, and just their family. I'll just say a little prayer. And I would be sure to tell them, look, this is obviously not on the checklist. This isn't something you have to do, but it's just something that I do that it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to do it. So take it or leave it. That would be it. but I felt it was important to share that with them. Sometimes we're like as peace officers, first responders, we're the first ones there, right? You're the first ones on scene. Maybe it's a suicide. That's what's coming to my mind now. So I remember I went to a suicide with this young girl stuck a gun in her mouth, blew the back of her head off. When I arrived, she was actually still breathing. Boom. Gnarly scene. Her boyfriend had come, the body was taken away, and there was puddles of blood, and the blood-soaked mattress. I helped him carry that mattress and throw it in the freaking garbage, which really I'm not supposed to do. I guess they could come after me now. But it was going to cost all this money to get it cleaned up, so I helped him a little bit. Then blood in the carpet, he was cleaning and left to clean with. He was all on, so I sat and said a little prayer with him and over the body. If you're watching this and you're not a peace officer, police officer, I hope it sheds a little light on what these officers have to deal with, these men and women, on a regular basis. You're seeing dead bodies on a regular basis. You're dealing with people and families who are at these really low moments, and you're dealing with them on a regular basis. And it becomes normal to see dead bodies. It became so not a big deal that you get kind of numb to it. It wasn't until after I retired that I was like, it's been a whole year since I left the department. I haven't seen one dead body. I haven't seen a dead body since I left the department. It doesn't mean that I won't see some, but it's not the norm. It's not normal to see dead bodies. But it is if you're a first responder, if you're a police officer. So, if you are a peace officer, police officer, thank you. Thank you for what you do. And if you're not, again, I hope it sheds a little light. Coming back to this place, that's why it's so important to be able to go inside, connect. So this will be to be continued. I haven't even really got into my prayer practice because I got so diverted, but I will say that again, that connecting with my grandma really is what started. From then on, I started like connecting with her, just like connecting with this presence and meditation, and bringing other forms of meditation and prayer into my practice that I will continue to share with you. Sorry, I got a little running nose from my emotions. All right. Peace and blessings. I'm going to end with 3 ohms after I blow my nose. Often when I meditate, I have some Kleenex around because I may get emotional, or I do a lot of, and just the breath work alone, just trying to clear my sinuses. And my right side, I have a little deviated septum, so Not perfect, but I'll do. One more big breath and then I'll Feel free to with me. Huge breath in. Have a blessed day. Thank you. If you watch this to the end, you may just be as great as me. Much love to you. Namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Om Namaha. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Walking in Jerusalem just like John.